All right. Well, I was going to offer a spiritual practice today, and it seems very appropriate considering our technical difficulties. And also because we are entering this darkest period of the year, although we have our holidays to brighten things up, right? The festivals of light, we still have these short days and long nights. And sometimes that affects our psyches, our mind, body systems in different ways. Different people are affected in different ways. Some of us sail through it. But I'd like to offer this spiritual practice that came across my desktop this morning. And it is about welcoming whatever comes with an open heart. And the affirmation that goes along with it is, I welcome everything that comes to me with an open heart and a welcoming spirit. I welcome everything that comes to me with an open heart and a welcoming spirit. And that just works so well with our yoga practice. And so we will work on opening our hearts and having a welcoming spirit, but that does not include any shapes that we may come into that don't work for your body. So we will welcome the modifications, shall we say. So let's start on our backs, and I suggest you bring your blanket if you want to start right away with this open heart, and fold it up in quarters. And then if you have a traditional yoga blanket, take your tassels and roll them inward so they're not annoying. And then lay your blanket down on your mat lengthwise and bring your hips down to the edge, and just lower your spine so that it's on the blanket. Hopefully your head will safely land at the top of the blanket. And then let your shoulders just wrap around your blanket. And if you happen to have a pillow or a bolster like this, you can tuck it under your knees. So nice. And just settle into your beginning posture. And we'll entertain the idea of getting in touch with our breath and beginning that vagus nerve activation that brings us into rest and digest, activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So if you're comfortable closing your eyes, just allow them to softly close. And just take a brief scan of the body, starting at the head and rolling down through the body, just noticing what the sensations are for you as we begin this practice. Notice any sound you might hear. Acknowledging and welcoming them. Noticing the temperature of your air. And the sensation of your clothes against your skin. Just tune into your natural breath. Notice how it's flowing in and out. Are you breathing shallowly, or have you begun to breathe a little more deeply in anticipation of this awesome practice? And then do that, begin to deepen, bringing the breath in through the nostrils, filling up the belly, filling up the rib cage, and drawing that breath all the way up into the lungs, allowing the shoulders to relax toward the floor, allowing the chest to open. Take a long, slow exhalation, releasing all the air through the nostrils, and then we'll begin again. Full breaths in, long, slow exhalations. Maybe you notice as you exhale, you get a little more settled. Maybe it'll take us a few more, so let's give ourselves that opportunity to really settle in. If it helps, you can count to 5 as you inhale, and maybe 6 or 7 as you exhale, so you can really get the benefit of the long, slow exhalation. Let's take 3 more, just finding some silence. And as you complete that 3rd breath, just take a moment to pause and notice. Notice if you feel a little more expansiveness in the chest, a little more relaxation in the body. And then take your time to move out of this pose. So you might have a little tenderness in the back. You might notice that as you roll to one side, just remove your blanket, set it aside, keep it close, and then come to your back, let your spine lengthen, and just take a moment here to breathe. Good. And then as you're ready, hug one knee into the chest to see if you can find some release in that lower back. You can twirl your ankle if you like. And then take that knee over toward the shoulder. And then take it across the body, just moving that hip from side to side, bringing some movement there. Good. And then take a hold of your ankle and externally rotate. If you have your blanket, you might, we're going to come into a supine tree pose on this side. So whichever leg you've chosen first, the foot will go into the opposite inner thigh. And if you have your blanket close by, you can let your knee rest on that blanket. And then take your shoulders, tuck them underneath you, and you might bring one hand to heart, one hand to belly as we are here. And we'll take 5 breaths here. So we're just passively opening the hip, right? Supine tree pose. If you don't usually practice with your foot on the inside of the inner thigh of the other leg, this is your chance. Imagine you're standing up so you can activate the opposite toes and flex the opposite foot, the leg that's extended. And that will bring some muscle engagement into the leg that's extended. And as you take this next breath, see if on your exhale you can soften that hip and just allow it to be supported by the floor or your blanket. Let's take one more full round of breath. And then release, remove the blanket, maybe move it to the other side if you like, and hug the opposite knee into your chest. Just really hug it in, twirl your foot. Some ankle circles are always welcome. And then take that hip from side to side, just moving it shoulder to shoulder. Just kind of checking in with that hip. Good. And then as you're ready, externally rotate that leg, maybe tuck a blanket underneath you as you draw the foot into the inner thigh of the other leg. Hand to heart, hand to belly, or just rest your hands underneath or down at your sides. And then flex the opposite foot so that you're feeling that muscle engagement. And then close your eyes here. You can really focus in on softening that hip as you breathe. Keep those breaths slow, just slow and smooth and full, like before. Just welcoming what is. So if this hip is not quite as open as the other one, perhaps, just kind of let it be. We're just noticing, not judging. Good. Release that breath for one more time, and then see if you can soften a little bit more that outer hip. Maybe take one more full breath. And then as you're ready, remove the blanket, draw that knee in, and then gather both knees into your chest and take any movements that might feel good. So it might be those circles that we love, giving your sacrum a little massage. It might be rocking from side to side. Yeah. And then take your ankles and place them on the floor so your feet are parallel, your knees are parallel. And then take your hands to the mat. Press your hips up toward the sky. Come into a bridge pose. You can keep your hands on the mat for this first one. We're going to take a couple, maybe 3. Lower down one vertebra at a time. We'll go slowly here. On this next one, let's incorporate the breath. So pressing up, inhale. Maybe take your hands and clasp them. Snuggle shoulders. And wait for the exhale to lower. So you want to release your hands, lower down one vertebrae at a time. Come all the way down. And then wait for the next inhale. Super slow, rise up, sending those hips up toward the sky, clasping your hands if you like. Maybe take one more full round of breath here. And then wait for the exhale. Lower down. Yeah. Good. Feel that floor supporting you. So good. Take your feet out wide on your mat. Your knees will also be wide. And just take some windshield washers with your legs. Just kind of activate those hips a little bit more, inner thighs a little bit more. Maybe hands come into cactus. Good. And then gather your knees into your chest one more time. Take your nose to your knee. Draw your belly into your spine. And if you like to rock and roll on your spine, go ahead. Otherwise, roll to one side. Come up to a seat. Yeah. You can tuck something under your hips to give you that extra elevation that just helps the legs settle down into easy pose. And take a moment. Just let your eyes close, let your heart be open, let your shoulders roll down away from your ears, and place your palms in a receptive, open position. Let's take 3 breaths here, finding stillness, and just noticing what we notice. With the crown of the head reaching toward the heavens and the spine stacked, we have this beautiful posture, this beautiful space. And just be with whatever is. And see if you have a little more room for the breath already. I feel like I do. Let's take one more full round of breath together. And then blink your eyes open if they're closed. Take your chin down to your chest. Hands can come to the front of the legs. Draw your belly into your spine. And then bring that chin all the way down. And on your inhale, rise up, shine your heart, send those shoulders back. And then exhale, fold in. Inhale, shine. And take 2 more, just moving with your breath. Nice job. Sit up tall. Switch the cross of the legs. Yeah. Notice your hips and take some circles. Just some gentle hip circles. Going in one direction. And then switching directions. Nice. And the pièce de résistance as we come to our stillness is to bring our feet together and draw the heels in close to the hips here. Always the option to take your blocks and tuck them under legs. I think I'll do that. To really feel that support. And before we do anything, sit up tall, notice, take a big breath. And on your exhalation, walk yourself forward, just coming slow with a nice open heart until you find your edge and you start to feel those inner thighs and the outer hips. Yeah, and we'll stay. We'll find some stillness here. Yeah, so find your edge, but don't push beyond that. We just want to welcome this edge with a few deep breaths. If it feels good, take your chin to your chest and bow. You might entertain the thought of lifting your heart a little bit and walking your fingertips just a little bit forward. Taking a nice deep breath, and on your exhale, see if you can find some softness. Chin comes down to chest. Let's see if we can find stillness here for just a few more breaths. Seeing if the exhalations can bring you a little bit closer to the floor or your blocks. Good. On your next inhalation, let's just walk ourselves up. Take a hold of the outsides of the legs and draw them in. Take your props out of the way. And then wrap your arms around your legs and give yourself a nice big hug. Take a big breath and gaze up at the ceiling. And take an exhale and take your chin down to your chest. Good. Inhale, come back up to seated. Take your hands behind you, fingertips pointing towards you, and just some gentle windshield washers here. Nice. As you're ready, let's meet in our tabletop. So take your blanket and tuck it under your knees if you are on a really hard surface, and then take your hands, spread them, your fingers nice and wide. Press into each of the joints of the fingers. I always say that, but it's so important. Maybe, Sophie, shake out your hips. Hands under shoulders. Hips over heels. And take some cat-cows here. So inhaling as you drop your belly, lift your gaze. Tailbone lifts. And exhale, draw that belly deep into the spine. Press the mat away. as you come into your Halloween cat shape. Good. Move slowly. Just finding that rhythm that works with your breath. Good. Nice. And when you're ready, we'll meet in our Halloween cat shape. And then come forward and take some circles here. Finding those hip circles. Sending your hips back. And then switching directions. Maybe taking figure 8 if that would feel good. Good. And finally, finding stillness here. Take your fingers, take your hands, and turn them so the fingertips are facing towards you, or maybe somewhat to the side, and just take your hips back. Let's stretch the forearms and the wrist. Good. Maybe rocking forward and back, or finding stillness. Good. Excellent. You can turn your hands around again or place them palms face up. Take your knees as wide as your mat and bring your big toes to touch. And sink your hips back. Come into a child's pose for a few rounds of breath. Let's settle in here. And if you make your palms so they're facing upward, again, that gesture of receptivity. Always the option to tuck something under the forehead and something between the hips and the legs. Let's come into our deep breath. If you feel like constricting the back of the throat, coming into Ujjayi breath, try it, you'll like it. Super relaxing. And just allow the exhalations to really soften the hips, soften the shoulders, and soften the face. Good. Finding stillness here. Just welcoming. Then as you're ready, slowly come up. We're going to open our heart a little bit more. Knees come under hips again, but the hands are going to walk forward and the chest is going to sink down as we come into puppy pose. The hips will stay over the knees and maybe the chin comes to the floor or maybe it's the forehead. It's a deep stretch, not only opening the chest, but also the shoulders, the upper back, you'll feel it. And again, if this is too much, perhaps child's pose is where you want to land. But if you like this puppy pose, this heart opener, see if you can allow your exhalations to just soften you, soften that chest toward the floor. Yes. Taking those shoulders toward one another on the back body. Breathing deeply. Good. One more breath in. And wait for the exhale. Complete the exhale. And then slowly make your way back to your tabletop. Take your hands a little forward of where they were in your table. Tuck your toes underneath. Get a nice stretch of the feet. And just lift your knees a couple of inches off the ground. Feel that strength in your arms, strength in your shoulders, strength in your core. And before you stop liking me, lift your hips up to the sky and come into your downward facing dog. Take a nice big breath in and take your dog for a walk, bending one knee and then the other. I bet you've noticed you've gotten a lot stronger over the course of our practice. I feel like I have. When you're ready, find stillness in your dog. Welcome the hamstrings to the party. Relax the back of the neck. soft face. And when you're ready, look forward, come up on your toes, and take a walk to the front of your mat. Find the front of your mat, but bend your knees as much as you need to. So it might be a really big bend in the knees to keep yourself safe. And if you feel any dizziness, of course, come up slowly. But if you're enjoying this forward fold, just let your head be relaxed. Maybe reach for your arms, your elbows, and come into ragdoll. Take 2 breaths here. I'm going to move slowly today, taking time to welcome each shape, each benefit that we receive from our asana. Keeping the breath steady and smooth. And on your next breath in, release your hands. We're just going to roll up 1 vertebra at a time, keeping that bend in the knees, keeping the back safe, drawing the belly into the spine. Reach the arms up, get long in the side body. Maybe look up. And then bring your hands down to prayer pose at the heart center. And breathe. Nice big breath in. Long breath out. And then let your hands release. Palms again, face up, face forward, not up, face forward. And draw those shoulders back. Nice open heart. Beautiful mountain pose. Fingertips reaching toward the floor, so encouraging the shoulders away from the ears. And chin slightly tucked. You've got this. So maybe you bring your awareness to your feet and then take a body scan standing, just like we did laying down. Notice what is going on in your body. Legs activated perhaps, core activated. Nice open heart, nice soft face, maybe a smile. Crown of the head reaching toward the heavens. Good. Take a big breath in, sweep your arms up, reach up and look up. And on your exhale, swan dive forward. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Come into your forward fold. Inhale, come to your halfway lift, lengthen the spine, draw the shoulders back, and exhale, forward fold again. Inhale, we're going to root to rise, reaching up. Good. Make a little teepee with your pointer fingers, interlacing the rest of them and taking a side bend to your left. Keep pressing both feet into the ground, into your mat. Good. Inhale, back up to center, and exhale, take your side bend to the right. Good. Inhale, coming back up. See what happens if you really press your feet into the floor, engage those legs, lift your gaze and lean back slightly. See if you can keep your ears framed with your arms. If not, always the option to release. And then exhale, take your hands to heart center and release, mountain pose. Take a nice big breath in. Puff up the chest, draw the shoulders down and back, and breathe. Inhale again, reach up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees, swan dive forward, find your forward fold or your halfway lift. Inhale to your halfway lift if you're not already there, and exhale, fold again. Good. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. We'll take the teepee again. This time we'll lean to the right. Press both feet into the floor. Get that C shape. You can get a nice side stretch in the left side body. Inhale, back up to center, and exhale, lean to the left. Pressing right foot into floor. Inhale. Frame those ears. Maybe look up, maybe lean back. Little back bend. Good. Exhale. Release your hands. Hands to heart center. Take a nice breath in. Feel that breath. Expanding your lungs, expanding your heart space, and then release your arms down. Mountain pose. Good. Nice big breath in. Good. Long breath out. Excellent. Just let it go for a second. Take your left foot to the left side of the mat. Press all 5 toes of that foot into the mat. And then take your right foot and step it back to the right side of the mat, and then we're going to angle it. So you want to make sure you took enough of a step so that your legs are on either side of the mat, and then bend into the left knee, and we'll come into our warrior one shape. So reach the fingertips up to the sky, framing the ears, and turn your torso more toward the left leg so it's facing forward. Good. So it's a little bit of a twist here. And then notice what's going on. This is an awkward pose for me. Notice what's going on in that right hip, that right foot. See if you can press equally into all 4 sides of that right foot, as much as you are pressing into the left foot. Seems like the left foot is taking the brunt of this pose, but see if you can press into, especially the right side of the right foot. Good. Breathe in, shine your heart, nice open heart. And then come into your cactus arms here. So bending the elbows, squeezing the shoulder blades, palms open. Good. Maybe you're gazing forward at your drishti, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe you want to look up, test your balance. Good. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, take your hands behind you, clasp them, squeeze those shoulder blades together even more, puff up your chest, and then humble warrior. So we come forward only to the place where we feel safe, but those legs are so solidly grounded that we're probably fine. So let your head come under your heart if you're comfortable. Take a nice breath in and a nice breath out. And then release your hands, bring them to frame the left foot, and take this right leg, scooch it back a little bit, face the toes forward, same direction as the left, lower your knee, and we'll come into a low lunge. Good. Kind of simple, but also kind of challenging. Can you welcome this? Good. This is Anjani Asana. So maybe you lean forward a little bit more. You'll get that stretch in the right hip flexor. I'm sure you've already noticed. Breathe in. Good. Shine that heart. Really open up. And breathe out. And then one more thing. Take the right hand to the inside of the left foot. Take your twist, lifting that left arm. Good. Breathe. If you want more, take your left hand to your right foot and draw it in. Get that shoulder stretch. You can flex the right foot. And make sure your left knee here is over the left ankle. Good. Take a gander up toward the ceiling. Beautiful. Breath slow. We've got this. Exhale. Take your left hand to frame your left foot, left hand on the left side, right hand on the right side. Tuck your right toes and send your left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. Let this be a rest. Find some stillness. Or walk your dog. Yogi's choice. Always the choice. Take another breath in. As you come up on your toes, look forward. Find your forward fold. Maybe rotate your wrists out. And if you bring your feet about hip width, you'll find that a little more stability. And then take your peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes. Maybe bend your knees a little bit more. Bring your belly to your thighs. And then gently straighten your legs as you draw your elbows out. A little more for the hamstrings. Yep. Breathe in. Good. Soft neck. Breathe out. Excellent. When you're ready, release those fingers. Begin to root to rise. Come all the way up slowly, stacking the vertebrae. Reach up. Look up. Hands come to heart center. Shoulders draw down. And then find your mountain. Mountain pose. Excellent. Nice big breath in here. Nice big breath out. And we'll take the right foot. Let's scooch it over to the right side of the mat. Take your left foot, step it back to the left side of the mat, and then spin it so it's at an angle, but nice space there. So railroad track-ish. And then come into your warrior one, reach your fingertips up to the sky, draw your ears up. Draw your shoulders down. How's that? Away from the ears. Draw the pinkies toward one another. Find this the integrity of this pose. So again, the torso is twisting from the left rib cage, so we're facing forwards. We feel that sensation of twist. Good. Breathe in here. Breathe out. Come into that goddess. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as you look up. Good. Beautiful. And then take your hands back behind, clasp them a different way. So maybe the other thumb is crossed over the top. Again, maybe you look up, maybe you squeeze a little more, puffing up the chest, opening up the heart, and then pressing into both sides, all sides, toes, heels, right and left sides of both feet, especially that left one. And then take your humble warrior here, bringing your head down below your heart, lifting your arms if you like, breathing in, then breathing out. Excellent. One more breath, and let your exhalation release your fingertips to the floor. Spin your left foot so it's facing the same direction as your right. Maybe scooch that foot. Scooch. That's a technical term. I should look that up. I wonder if that's even a word. Scooch. Lower your knee. Lower the top of the left foot. Come on up into your low lunge. Good. Maybe shine a little bit more here. You can lean forward a little bit more, feeling that left hip flexor. Should feel good. If not, you know to back off. Just welcome this edge as you breathe. And when you're ready, left hand comes down to the inside of the right foot, right arm sweeps up. Open up that shoulder. Good. Breathe. And then maybe you reach back for this foot. Maybe not. Stay where you are if you're happily at your edge. Good. And breathe in. And when you're ready, slowly release. Bring your right hand to the outside of the right foot. And we'll lift the left knee. Come into a plank by stepping your right foot back. So here we are in our high plank. You can always lower your knees. If you want to stay in your high plank with me for another round of breath, please do. And when you're ready, lower to your low plank. Again, knees are always an option, so come down to your elbows. Keep that core engaged, drawing the belly into the spine. And when you're ready, lower, if they're not already down, hips, lower the tops of the feet, and come into a Sphinx pose. So again, Sphinx pose is a heart opener. Good. Take a nice big breath as you shine your heart. Get that benefit of this back bend, a passive back bend. Make sure your breaths are slow and deep. And check in with your neck. Keep it soft. Sometimes swallowing in the throat helps with that. And then if you want a little bit more of a back bend, Yogi's choice. Take your arms out, press your hands into the floor, and come up into seal. So only if your back permits this morning. Good. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, just lower yourself down to the mat. Make a little pillow. Turn your head to one side. Maybe Sophie, shake it out. Good. Feel the breath moving into the belly as the belly presses into the mat. And then feel the belly draw into the spine as you exhale. When you're ready, draw the right knee up to the right elbow. And breathe in and breathe out. As you're ready, release that leg long. Switch the ear that is on the mat. Turn to the other side and take the left knee up to the left elbow. So you can be facing the same direction or the opposite direction, whatever is right for you. Good. Breathe in and breathe out. When you're ready, release that leg long. Bring your forehead to the mat and take your fingertips to the outsides of the armpits. Press your fingertips into the mat. Squeeze those elbows in and come up to your cobra. And as you're ready, lower down. This time, press the entire hand into the mat. Squeeze those elbows in so shoulder blades drawing toward one another. Come up to your higher cobra or lift your knees and come into up dog. Good. When you're ready, we're going to come into a slow downward facing dog. Last one of the practice. Tuck your toes. Come in slowly so you can let the back lengthen out slowly, pressing the hands into the mat, finding that down dog that works for you. Good. Breathe in. And as you're ready, come up to your toes, look forward, and come to standing. Yeah, slowly. Maybe reaching up. And then hands come to heart center. Find your mountain pose. Come into a real solid mountain pose. So again, feet under hips, toes can spread, and then grip the mat one at a time. Feel that grounded sensation. So imagine you're growing roots into the floor. You can guess what's coming, I'm sure. So we've been here before. We've practiced tree pose. So let's see what happens if we bring our weight into our left foot and we find something in front of us that is not moving, that's dependable and steady, and then externally rotate that right leg. Good. So maybe your right heel comes into your left ankle, and that's fine. And you can come into whatever arm positions feel right for you as a tree, as your version of tree. Or maybe you want to reach down and take that leg into the inner thigh and play. Make this tree your own. You've got this. Good. Breathe in. Slow breaths out. Slow, steady breath. Stay rooted. And when you're ready, hands come to heart center. Release that leg to the floor. Maybe rotate the ankles. Do what you need to do. Lift and spread the toes. And we'll try it on the other side. So never getting stuck on one side, letting whatever happened on that side go. Let's bring our weight into our right foot. Find your drishti. Maybe the heel comes into the ankle, and this is fine. Maybe you want to reach down. and press the foot into the leg, leg into the foot. See if you can try to equal out that resistance coming from both foot and leg. Maybe you grow your branches. Maybe you drop your leaves. And whenever you're ready, we meet back in mountain pose. Good. Taking whatever you need to find that stillness. Just tune in here. Bring that awareness to the toes and the feet. And draw your awareness all up through your body. Just notice. Welcome. And feel that energy all the way up to the crown of the head. Excellent. And then one last time, shake your right hand right and left. Shake your left hand up and down. Smile. Shake your left hand left and right. Shake your right hand up and down. Laugh out loud. Ha ha ha. And when you're ready, unceremoniously come down to the floor. Take yourself down. Hug your knees into your chest. And just gently drop them over to the right. And open up your left arm. Take your gaze in that general direction. Feel this twist. Should feel yummy. When you're ready, knees come back into chest. Maybe nose comes to knee. Curl up in a little ball if that feels good. And then drop the knees over to the left. Finding your twist on this side, gazing in opposite direction. Good, nice open shoulders. Breathe in and breathe out. And when you're ready, one more opportunity to open our hearts. And I know all of us don't have bolsters, but you can use your blanket. You can take your rolled up blanket, or you can open your blanket. It might actually be more comfortable that way. And place it on your blocks with the one block on the higher level, one on the lower. But I'll just show you if you, maybe a bolster would be something on your gift list this year. And then you have your blanket freed up to have a really sweet shavasana. So this is just super nice. Yeah. And then you can take your blanket and either cover up or place it maybe over your belly and just let it all go. Just let it go. Let your legs come wide, feet open, heart open, eyes closed, face soft. Find your sweet spot, your shavasana, and just commit to being here. Allow yourself to completely surrender. This is one of my favorite poems by David Wagner. Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's called Lost. And we all have different ideas of what it feels like to be lost, or what we have lost. But this poem just asks us to stand still. He writes, "Stand still. The trees before you and the bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is a place called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger. Must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you." Stay still, or begin to make some small movements, thinking about transitioning from your practice to your day. So you might wiggle your fingers and toes, or blink your eyes open. Roll to one side if you like. Just pausing in that fetal position. Finding one more moment of stillness. And then as you're ready, use the strength of your arms to press yourself up to your version of easy pose. And then lengthen the spine. Find some space between the shoulders and the ears. And lift the crown of the heavens. Lift the crown of the head to the heavens. Take a nice big breath here. Maybe close your eyes one last time and feel the spaciousness you have created. Finding that capacity to be with what is, to welcome it. Knowing you are never lost. When you're ready, reach your arms up. Reach up for all the goodness. Let your palms touch one another and then draw them down to your hands. Draw your hands down to your heart center. Take one last chance to bow. Find some gratitude for this practice, for this life, for yourself. I'm so grateful for you, for this practice. It's been so fun guiding you through Mindful Monday and playing and finding balance and stillness. Thank you. Thank you for coming along and being good companions on this journey. Namaste, my friends.